Okay, I was able to fix that issue. I tried logging out of my company file and logging back in, and it did reset, so I was able to bring that screen up. So we are going to manually add a vendor here. This is at the bottom of page 9-3. And we're going to add a dry cleaning services to our chart of accounts. Okay, so we actually don't need our vendors right now. We want to open up our chart of accounts. So we can go to transactions, chart of accounts. We're going to select our new button. And our account type is going to be an expense account. The detail type, other business expense. The name is dry cleaning services. And our description, dry cleaning services. All right, from the drop down for save, I'm going to do save and new. And I'm also going to add a pool services account. This is also going to be an expense account. Detail type, other business expense. Name is pool services. And description, pool services. And we're going to save and close that. So those two are added to our chart of accounts. Bottom of 9.4, it's a good idea to add your vendors in QuickBooks Online before you start recording expenses and bills. Otherwise, you will have to do this at the same time you are entering expenses or paying bills, and it can be overwhelming at first. Similar to customers, we can import vendors into QuickBooks Online, or we can enter them manually. Follow the steps below to add Quick Clean Incorporated as a new vendor who provides dry cleaning services to guests of luxury lodging. So we're going to go to our expenses on our navigation bar and select the vendors tab, and I'm going to click add vendor, and thankfully our menu stays open, and we want the company Quick Clean Dry Cleaners. Display name as should automatically populate with the company name as it does. Address is going to be, scroll down, 123 Dry Cleaning Way. Down in the additional info section, we want our payment terms for Quick Clean Dry Cleaners to be net 30. Default expense account, dry cleaning services. And it says to click save, and we're going to use the information on the table on page 9.6 to add 2 additional vendors. So I'm going to hit save. This will open up the Quick Clean Dry Cleaners vendor information window. We can click the back arrow to vendors, and it's going to open that list for us. You can see Quick Clean Dry Cleaners has been added. We're going to hit new vendor again, And this time it's going to be Stellar Cleaning Services. Display name is going to be the same. Address is 456 Stellar Way, Beverly Hills, California, 90210. Scroll down to the payment terms in the additional info tab, and that's going to be net 15. So the full balance will be due within 15 days. And the default expense account is going to be housekeeping services. I'm going to save that. We can go back to our vendors list. We have 2 added there now. We're going to do our third one by clicking new vendor, and this is going to be Pool Guy Inc. Address is 789 Rainbow Drive. Also Beverly Hills. Payment terms of net 30, which means the full balance is due within 30 days of the bill. And default expense account is pool services. Click save on that. For the quick clean dry cleaners, it didn't mention in the actual directions, but in the picture there, they did specify the city state of Austin, Texas. So I'm just going to go back to my vendors. I'm going to open up my quick clean dry cleaners and just need to edit that information. So that's going to be Austin, Texas. And the zip code shown in the picture, 73301. All right, so we can just go ahead and save that. So we have the full address there. All right, so back at our vendors list, we have Pool Guy Inc., we have Quick Clean Dry Cleaners, and we have Stellar Cleaning Services. All right, number 7 on the bottom of page 9.6 says to click once on Pool Guy Inc. in the following screen displays. And they want us to edit it just like we did for the quick cleaners. Click on edit. You can make changes to any field required. In addition, you can also make this vendor inactive by clicking on the Make Inactive button located at the bottom of the screen. I believe the Make Inactive is on the previous screen. Let me see. It's from the drop down, Make Inactive here. We are not going to make Pool Guy Inc. inactive. That's just to show you how to do that. All right. Bottom of page 9.7, expenses versus bills. Money going out of a business to pay for day-to-day operations such as rent, utilities, and office supplies are considered to be expenses. In QuickBooks, any payment entered after the fact will be recorded as an expense. If your vendor supplier extends credit to you, payment is not due right away. These types of expenses will be recorded in QuickBooks as bills. Bills are recorded in QuickBooks along with the due date. When you get close to a due date, QuickBooks will notify you that a bill is coming due. The balance of all unpaid bills is called accounts payable. Accounts payable, or AP, is the money that you owe to creditors, vendors, and suppliers. We will show you how to record expenses next. Recording non-recurring and recurring expenses. As mentioned previously, some examples of expenses are rent, utilities, and office supplies. Expenses can be categorized as recurring and non-recurring. Recurring expenses are those that require payment on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. For example, rent and utilities are recurring expenses that take place monthly. Larry has a pool service that he pays on a monthly basis for repairs and maintenance for the pools located at his properties. We will show you how to set up this recurring expense next. So we want to navigate to our vendor center. So we're going to click the back button to go to vendors. And for the Pool Guy Inc., click on the drop down arrow to the right of Create Bill in the Actions column. So we want to find Pool Guy, and all the way to the right here next to Create Bill, we're going to hit the drop down arrow and we're going to choose Create Expense. So our expense window opens up and we want to complete the fields as shown for the pool service for the Texas properties for the month of June. It says June 2021. We're going to keep it as the year we're working in. All right, so our payee, we want to make sure is Pool Guy. This field should have automatically populated with the payee's name. The payment account is going to be business checking account. This field should also automatically be populated with the bank account info. Payment date, they're doing July 15th, 2021. Let's do July 15th, 2024. Or whatever year that you're completing this exercise in. Reference number is going to be June 2024, or again, whatever year you're working in. Property is going to be Texas properties. Make sure you select that from your drop down. Category, which is listed right here, we want as pool services. In the description field, we're going to do repairs and maintenance for Austin, Houston, and Dallas for June and your year. Then we're going to tab over to the amount field, and that's going to be $450. Tab over again, and it will input the total for you. And number 5 says to keep the invoice open on your screen for the next exercise. Do not save this invoice. It is only going to be used to create the recurring expense template. After creating the template, we will record the expense. As previously mentioned, pool services is a recurring expense that Larry pays on a monthly basis for both the Texas and the California properties. To save time, we will create a recurring expense template so this expense can be recorded quickly each month. We will show you how to do this next. So bottom of 910 is creating a recurring expense. We want to click the Make Recurring option as shown at the bottom of the image in step 4. So down here we have our link, Make Recurring. And then number 2, complete the following fields in the recurring expense template. Our template name we want as Pool Guy Inc. This field should automatically default with the vendor's name, which it did. Then the type field, there are 3 types to choose from. We have scheduled, reminder, and unscheduled. Scheduled will automatically record the expense for you on the date you indicate. Reminder will remind you that the expense needs to be recorded on the date you indicate in the field below. And unscheduled means you can manually record the expense when you are ready. We're going to select Reminder. And in the Remind box, select the number of days you would like to be reminded to record the expense. We're going to select 5 days before the transaction date. Payee, again, is Pool Guy Incorporated. This should automatically be filled in. Account is business checking account. Then we have the interval. The options for interval are daily, weekly, monthly, or annually. We're going to select monthly from our drop down, and we want on the fifteenth day of every 1 month. And our start date, we want August 15th. Of 2026. And it shows us a note. Notice the year for the start date is 2026. It is important to use this date because you cannot create a recurring transaction template using a date that is in the past. Most likely, by the time you complete this exercise, it will be after August 15th of 2021. This will not impact any reports because when you actually record the expense, you will use a start date with the year of whatever you're in. So I'm actually going to make this, we'll do August. I could easily type this in, but I'm being lazy. We'll do August 15th of 2030, just to make sure it's way in the future. So it doesn't affect the next years coming up. All right. And we want none. Property is going to be Texas properties. Category pool services. Description, again, repairs and maintenance for Austin, Houston, and Dallas. We want to remove that specific month we had. Accidentally just deleted all of it. Amount we want to keep as $450, and we're going to select the Save Template button in the bottom right hand corner. You can see recurring expense has been saved. To see a list of recurring expense templates, follow the steps below to display the templates. We can click on the gear icon. Oops, wrong gear. The gear at the top, and under lists, we can select recurring transactions. And you can see our Pool Guy Incorporated recurring expenses shown. Click on the arrow to the right of the edit link below the action column, and the following template options display. We have use, duplicate, pause, skip next date, and delete. The use option, you can record this template anytime you choose by selecting the use option. The template will display so that you can make any changes necessary, and then you can record it on your books. Duplicate, if you need to create a template similar to an existing recurring transaction, use the duplicate option. The template will display on your screen so that you can make the necessary changes to create a new one. Pause. If you want to skip recording an expense, you can do that by selecting the pause option. The recurring expense will not be scheduled again until you decide to use it again. Then the skip next date option. If you'd like to skip the next date the expense is scheduled to record, you can do so by selecting the Skip Next Date option. The recurring expense will automatically resume after the skip date has passed. And then your last option of delete, you can delete a recurring expense anytime by clicking on this option. Next, we will use the recurring pool guide template to record the pool expense for the month of August for the Texas properties. We're going to select the use option, and our recurring expense template should open up. We want to complete the payment date, payment method, and the reference number and description fields. Payment date is going to be August 15th of the current year. Payment method we have is check, and reference number 12345. The description is going to be repairs and maintenance for Austin, Houston, and Dallas for August of the current year. And we're going to click Save and Close to record the expense. When this expense is recorded in QuickBooks, it makes a journal entry. It will debit pool services for $450, and it's going to credit or decrease the business checking account for $450. On the left navigation bar, it says to click on the dashboard. And it says to click on our business overview section, but we no longer have that option on the top right here. But it's showing the profit and loss. Let's see. Just change that to this year, $35,675, which it does show. And it's showing that $450 expense that we just created for the pool guy. It's showing there as well. All right. Now that you know how to record expenses, we're going to take a look at how to record a bill next.